Hey, welcome back to part 3 of the interview with the artist Clementine. Now, just for clarity, since I saw a couple different people who were a little bit confused in the comments of the last few videos, understandably, um, this is an interview with an artist, a very interesting and unique artist, who was kind enough to sit down and talk to me for like more than 2 hours. It was a really cool experience, and it was an interview. It was kind of a conversation, but it was fun to do, and yeah, I'm cutting it up into a few different sections, and then I think I'm also going to upload the full thing, like the full thing at some point too, after I finish uploading some sections of it. But anyway, this is part 3, and this is where we really get to see a lot about who Clementine is as an artist and some of the work that they have created. So, yeah, I'm super excited for you to see this. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. If anyone watching this is an artist who wants to, have a conversation, send me a message if you want. All right, let's get into this. How did the album, or the EP, I guess, come to be?
Yeah, so I was your age. And I was you're 18, right?
I'm going to be 18 in less than a month.
Happy almost birthday, my guy.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Very excited.
Yeah, no, that's the shit. So yeah, being 17, being 18 was a very fun time in my life. I was a senior in high school, and the like most important thing to me at the time was this girl that I was dating. Um, it like was just a classic type of like senior high school relationship. And it was so fun. And we broke up, and then that breakup like inspired the songs for the EP.
Okay.
I've been writing songs my whole life. I very much started focusing on writing songs when I was 11. I got my first guitar when I was 11, and so as soon as I owned a guitar, that's when I like very specifically started writing full songs. Um, so I'd been writing songs forever. So it wasn't like I had this breakup and then I was like, oh, I need to write songs, like, which does happen. And like sometimes people just like pick up music and are amazing at it right off the bat. I already had like almost 10 years under my belt by the time I made that.
Okay. Okay.
So anyways, I took all the influence that I've ever had from music in my life, and that not like purposefully, but just like inevitably, all of those influences like went into writing that EP. It was all about that breakup, and the song like "Viddy Well Brother" was actually conceptualized about my breakup with the girl while we were still together, and I remember showing it to her, and it made her like sad because I was like writing a song about us breaking up. And I think that like when you're 17, especially for me, there's just this like romanticization about like just fucking tragic shit, like Romeo and Juliet or like the new show Euphoria. There's just like this like obsession as a teenager with just like drama and like fighting and getting back together and breaking up. Like uh at least for me, I just like was like very consumed by like all of this stuff that was like, for an adult it would be very unhealthy if I was like living my life and running my relationships like in such a messy way at the age of 27. It would cause me daily problems. But when you're a kid, you don't have any problems, and so you can like manufacture social problems like between you and your friends.
That's
And
what
like,
that's what I was gonna say. Was that sorry to cut you off.
no, you're good.
But the I think that might be because a lot of teenagers are like, I want to get all that experience, all the dark adulty experiences, so they kind of romanticize them or put them on a pedestal because it seems like maybe when that happens, I'll feel more world wise, and maybe people will take everything, the things that I do, more seriously, and I can take my life more seriously. But then once you
Yeah,
actually become an adult, and you're like, damn, this sucks.
yeah,
And then
kind of changes a little bit, but yeah. Anyway,
Well, well, I think yeah, and I think like you're drawn to stuff that like matches your soul's vibration, and that's such a cocky thing to say. But anyways, um, like a lot of the kids that I went to school with were into like gang rap and shit like that. And like that was never my vibe, but like they would spend their weekends like doing shit that was like related to the music that they listened to. Like they would like fucking actually have guns, or like they would like be stealing their
jeez.
parents, they would like be stealing their parents' cars, or they would be like jumping people or like selling drugs. Like, and the music that they listened to like was all about that.
Sure.
um the music that I listened to was all about being depressed and killing yourself, and uh and so like, so
I'm
I mean
glad
there's this
glad that
there's
didn't happen.
yeah, me too, I love being alive. But so yeah, so like I listened to emo music, and emo music for sure had its heyday when I was a teenager. So
Sure, yeah.
and so like and and I don't know like if the chicken came before the egg, like in that sense, if like the music inspired me, or if like I was like predestined to like that kind of music. All that said, I had a very traditional, complicated, passionate relationship when I was 17. We broke up. I wrote songs about it. I was extremely passionate about the songs. I posted like one of them online, and then this kid that was a year younger than me that I went to school with, who I had jammed with once before. I went to his house and he played drums, and nothing came of it. And then like a year later, he messaged me and said, "Hey, I learned your song. Come over." And so I went to Christian's house. I said, "You learned my song?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Hell yeah, that's awesome." And without doing anything else, I had my guitar and a microphone, and he had his drums, and we played the song perfectly together then.
This is the greatest origin story I think I've ever heard.
Man, Christian Rich is the shit. He's my best friend, and he's so fucking talented. He's the best musician. So, and his story is fucking amazing. But anyways, I was such a songwriter and so disinterested in being in a band, because like I wanted full creative control,
Sure.
that like when I went to his house and he played the song perfectly on drums, that was like exactly what I needed. And he was like thrilled to do it. So it was this amazing symbiotic relationship. So me and him
Wow.
recorded, yeah, so me and him recorded the demos for that EP at his uncle's house on like this little recording setup. And we were like in love with the demos. And then I was taking a music recording class at Scottsdale Community College, and I met this kid who had all of this expensive gear that he was so fortunate enough to have like through his parents. And he was willing, because he was new at recording, he was willing to only charge $100 a song. And so that was, as at 17, I could afford $100 a song. I was working at the movie theaters. And so I could definitely afford that. And then there was this kid who was a year older than me from my high school who played bass, who I had known since I was a child. Me and him went to Boys and Girls Clubs together, and we actually learned how to play music at that Boys and Girls Club together when we were like 10. So it all came full circle. So we entered the studio for $100 a song with Christian on drums, this guy Alex Sanders, who also is such an amazing musician and such a fucking amazing guy. He played bass, and I played guitar and I sang. So I wrote all the songs, the lyrics and everything, but Christian wrote the drums because I don't play drums. And then Alex wrote the bass because I could never at that point in my life wrap my head around bass. I didn't know what the fuck, how you even like wrote bass parts. I just didn't know what you were supposed to do. And Alex was so good, like so fucking good. And so he wrote these amazing bass parts to the
Yeah.
song. They're so fucking good. It's
Yeah.
so stupid how good they are. So he wrote these amazing, specifically on Viddy Well Brother. Like
Yes.
my God, the bass parts are
Yes,
so stupid.
it's
So,
incredible. I remember
man,
that one catching me like I was like, "Holy cow, this is awesome."
bro. Yeah, so we went to the studio for like a month or two, and we like had those sessions and made that EP, and we put it out, and we started like promoting it the best that we could. And I was in college at the time. Now that came out when I was like a freshman at ASU. So for the first like 2 years at ASU, I was like riding the high of that EP. We played a bunch of house shows. We got a bunch of fans, and it was like a really, like, for me and my small little life, it was like a very legendary time. Honestly, like we had some shows that were just incredible. People screaming the lyrics at us. Like
That's
one one
awesome.
one house show got so crazy. This one girl got like kind of shoved through like a window, and like she had to go to the ER. She had like a bloody arm. She was our friend, and she was okay. We played. Alex lived at this house called the Kachina Room, because one of the rooms was just like filled with Kachina dolls. And so we used to throw these like insane house parties there. Like they were like Star Wars themed one time, and like we did like a Bohemian Rhapsody cover one time, and it was just, man, it was the
Wow.
shit. It was so fucking fun, and I wish, there's so many times in my life that I wish I could just go back and like relive over and over. But that whole time was like definitely one of them. We played Warp Tour on in that time. We got to do like we won a contest to like play the radio station stage at Warp Tour. And like Warp Tour was like a dream of mine. I'd been obsessed with Warp Tour ever since I found out about it when I was like 12.
Wow.
So dude, like really, really, really cool, like amazing things happened. And that's it. Like that's it. The title of the EP comes from a movie called Candy, which me and the girl that I was dating, the album's all about that girl that I was dating. So like her and I loved this movie called Candy, and so that's where the title is from. It's like a Heath Ledger indie film. It's cool. It's
Oh wow.
definitely cool. It's definitely cool when you're young. It falls into the category of like just like torturous like love, and so that was like it. And then the name of the band comes from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the Jim Carrey movie. And that also is about just fucking torturous love, just the most
Yes.
emo shit ever. And so that's where the name of the band comes from. So something that I still do that I did then was like every piece of the art, the lyrics, the music itself, the artwork, the name, like every single thing like has a meaning. Like it's not just like, oh, I thought it was cool. Like it's like, no, this is what it means.
That's good. That's good. Intention behind art is always makes it better, you know?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
layers, lots of layers to it when you do that.
Yeah. I've always gravitated towards that. So I think that's it. Basically, that's the story of that.
Yeah, I love the EP so much. Now your new album, which you said is called Believe in Yourself, right?
Yeah.
Is that out? Is it coming out?
Yeah, it's coming out. It's not officially out.
Okay.
It's out on SoundCloud in a sense. I have it out on SoundCloud in its current form, and every time I finish a new version of the songs, I update the SoundCloud. So the SoundCloud is constantly inching closer and closer to like the final form of the album.
Okay.
And then when it's done, it'll be out. But putting out music today is a very weird game. So I don't know if I'm gonna drop like one song at a time or if I'm gonna drop the whole thing. But to me, that doesn't matter as much as like the actual music. Yeah.
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 So, what I'm going to assume, and you've already kind of confirmed this a couple times during this interview, that you are in a slightly different headspace than you were when you recorded some of your older stuff. So, what
Yeah.
are some differences that maybe new listeners can expect going into Believe in Yourself, as opposed to a project like the EP?
So like on the EP, the last song on it is called Hole in My Head, and it's
Yes.
specifically about thinking about killing myself. Um and it but it doesn't have an energy where I'm not gonna do it. Like it definitely has like this energy as if I did it. I mean,
Yeah.
like that's literally like what the
And it's
song
the
said.
closer to the EP too. It's yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot of the lyrics solidify um my dangerous personality traits. Like there's a lot of conversation in my music about being out of control or being depressed or being a problem or being doomed.
Mm.
Um, it was just this idea that I was fucked up and I was never going to be okay and I didn't deserve love and I was a shitty person. And what's so funny is like while I experienced all of those emotions truly, I also had this idea that had superior music taste. I had this idea that the music I made was superior to other people's music. I had the idea that I was a good person and that I was like better than other people. I always felt this like terrible conflict of like I hate myself and I want to die, and also like I'm better than everybody else. Um,
Oh boy.
something
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
something really really important that happened in my life that is still a little tricky is like a year ago, a little more than a year ago, I was diagnosed as bipolar. um I was only diagnosed by like one doctor, and so uh I feel a little bit imposter syndrome, like saying like like on video that I am bipolar, but I am bipolar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
um and so that makes my life before make a lot more sense. Like pretty much like everything I did and like experienced like falls like very much in line with the category of like a
Wow.
bipolar person.
Okay.
Um in addition to that, or even more importantly than like being diagnosed as bipolar, which has allowed me to understand myself better,
Yeah, I'll
uh
bet.
pretty much like 2 years after I made that EP, I got very into self-help and personal development. Like The Secret, The Law of Attraction, How to Win Friends and Influence People,
The
Think and
books,
Grow
right?
Rich.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those are big. Tim Ferriss and his podcast and his book, The 4 Hour Work Week, Gary Vee and all of his YouTube videos. Pretty much Tony Robbins, Abraham Hicks, Big Sean, pretty much every single thing in the realm of like self-help and spiritual awakening and personal development, I gravitated towards because I decided early on that I want to be rich. And that is driven by me hating school and hating jobs. I hate it. I hate having a boss. I hate working for people. And I hate having to do stuff that I don't want to do. I love making music and I think that I'm so good at making music and I want to do it like for my full-time job. I want to be like Tyler the Creator. Like I want to be like everyone. I want to be like I just want to do it. And
Wow.
so anyways, so my mindset really shifted in that sense. So I uh and so that's my message for myself now. Whereas like I really like thought that it was like validating to be emo. I still think that that shit is fucking cool, but I
Yeah.
think that at the end of the day, it's important to like be healthy and to be happy.
Another
And yeah.
another thing that really inspires me about your entire personality, both in your music and now talking to you, is how incredibly honest you are about yourself. you know, and about the things that you go through, and even like going so far as to, you know, admit certain things, like at a certain point in your life, thinking both that you really disliked yourself and also that you felt sometimes superior to other people, or um the was you said something else just like a second ago as well that maybe, oh yeah, I want to be rich so that no one has to tell me what to do, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, yeah, you know, I don't know, I appreciate that level of honesty, where there are a lot of artists who build up lots of, you know, different types of barriers, or show specific parts of themselves, or just versions of themselves, you know, the most pure, I guess, or the most, the whatever best fits their chosen genre or aesthetic, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Where you, as far as I can tell, obviously, I've only, you know, this is my really my first time talking to you, you know, but as far as I can tell, are super super upfront about everything that you've struggled with, and everything that, you know, goes on pretty much, and it's refreshing. So yeah, I don't know, I just appreciate that. Are there any musical differences going into this new project of yours? Like, are you moving in a any different genre type of, I don't even know how to put this into words.
Yeah, no, I know what you're asking.
Okay.
Uh, yeah, for sure. So like this album like doesn't sound like this album doesn't have songs that are exclusively guitar, bass, and drums. That first EP was like inspired by punk rock music, so it was
Sure.
just guitar, bass, drums, vocals. This album was made here. You can't see it, but this is my desk with my studio.
I think I've
Uh,
seen it in some of your Instagram pictures. Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So that first EP was made in a studio with a band, and this new album was made just by me here at my computer with my stuff. Um, so, I mean, there's a ton of that. So,
Yeah.
so it's what I sound like making the music that I'm making. It's hyper pop ish. It's
Oh
punk
wow.
rock ish. It's
Okay.
pop ish. It's modern. Uh, it, I was watching a video last night that solidified something that I like was told when I was a kid. My uncle told me when I was like 11. He said a song is a good song if you can take all of the elements of the song away and just play it on piano or play it on guitar. If a song is still a good song, if all it is lyrics and one instrument, then you know you have a good song. So I like to think that all of my music, if it was strictly played with a voice and a piano or a voice and a guitar, would still be like dope as fuck. Um, so that's where the
That's
songs
awesome.
start. Yeah, so that's where all my songs have started, but then they all take on like different flavors. And so some of them are inspired by like new inspirations like Charlie XCX and hyperpop. Some of
Sure.
them are inspired by like my oldest inspirations like Bright Eyes or My Chemical Romance. Some of them are inspired by Mac Miller or Drake, some of my like
Ooh.
favorite like hip hop artists. Um, and then sometimes those inspirations like all collab. Something that I'm trying to do that everyone else is trying to do as well, that I think I'm good at, is like blending sounds in a way that like feels very natural and right.
Yeah,
Whereas sometimes,
everybody is doing that right now. Yeah,
yeah, but
yeah.
sometimes, yeah, but then like in my subjective opinion, sometimes I hear blends of music and I'm like, that never
it
should, that should not have happened. Uh, but I'm really, I think with this album, if it's anything, it's me as I am. Like this, it's just like who I am now. And if it sucks, then I'll know that. And but I don't think it sucks now. I think it's really good. Um,
I don't think it's gonna suck. And even if, I mean, by whose standards would it be sucking by?
Yeah, that's not,
Exactly.
that's, yeah. So, but yeah, so yeah, it just sounds the way that it sounds. The first track is kind of like a rap song. So that's something.
So it's a little more modern.
Yeah.
And you're making it entirely by yourself, which I also love that too.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. This is a pretty weird place to end this section of the interview on, but we start talking about lots of other stuff after this point, although I don't necessarily ask like a cliffhanger-y question, so this is just where I'm going to end. But yeah, thank you so much for doing this, Clementine. I hope you get to see this. And to the people watching, there are links in the description to Clementine's social pages and also to his Spotify. I would highly recommend giving The Afternoon of Extravagant Delight a listen. If not the whole thing, 2 highlights for me specifically are Viddy Well Brother and I Miss Being a Tree, the 2nd and 4th tracks off the 5-track EP. Every single song's awesome, but those 2 are my personal favorites. And yeah, keep an eye on this guy. I think I really like what he's doing. So yeah, all right, stay tuned for the next part of the interview. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys.
Seep out. Well, it was quick with no words. I dreamt of people sans doubt. I'm working hard for a life that I don't want. Listen numbers, guitar.